See, my computer will die. All right.
Good luck.
Hello.
I have no idea what was going to be in the video, so I just want to say, how's it going, guys? Yo, what's poppin' gamers? It's your boy, Silver123, coming back with a little Let's Play video. Today we're gonna be, fucking... Why is that so...
Anyway...
Why does that make me laugh?
Anyway,
This is a bad sign.
welcome back, everybody, or should I say welcome. Today, me and my crackhead friends are going to be reading a fan fiction I've written.
No!
Just
Stop playing Megalovania! Stop megaloing my vanias!
What we're reading today is Ape Kodomo Escape REDUX. So, just so we make sure everyone's on a similar page, does everyone know what the basis of Ape Escape is?
Monkeys escape and you gotta catch them, and there's
Monkey.
Yeah.
sensor and easy
Monkey.
Yeah, all I know
Alright.
is a monkey.
Alright.
That's all I know.
Monkey. There's this guy
Monkey.
that finds... Basically, there's this monkey that finds a hat. The hat turns him really smart, and he starts trying to take over the world with a monkey army, and you have to catch him and stop him. That's the basics of it. This is a next generation.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it happened again. No one learned their lesson from last time.
No one, there was over 3 fucking games for this, and it's like the same thing every time. No one learned their lesson. Would anyone like to read the synopsis that I will highlight here? You know, just to get a kind of a feel for it, if you can even see it.
I can try.
Alright, I'll be doing the
Only
narration
if
for
I
the
can-
story.
Only if I can do a woo voice.
Yes, do a woo voice.
I know how Oliver's gonna sound.
It has been almost 2 decades since the last time Spectre escaped, and has never reappeared since. The original group. Fuck, this is really. This is really bad quality. I'm gonna play up on my end.
Oh no.
It's
I
gonna
can't
be
wait to on my
fine.
end.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I got it here. It has been almost 2 decades since
Oh
the
my
last time
God. Yeah.
Oh, this is a bad time.
Everything's going wrong.
I come to Oliver's part and you just hear
Let her finish.
Okay.
Okay, it's been it's been almost 2 decades since the last time Spectre escaped, and he's never reappeared since. The original group, now grown up with their own families, tried their best to keep their eye on any suspicious activity whilst raising their children separately. But as children are, they will find the truth eventually. Da, da, da!
Right.
Period.
I'll be narrating this. Most of it is narration. Thank me later, but I'm also a dumbass piece of shit, so this is gonna be a mess.
Right, tell me when I have to speak. Yeah.
Alright, first I just want to make a disclaimer for anyone watching. The story itself is rated teens. You know, I'd say it's around PG-13 maybe, but there's no swearing.
So children, fuck off.
There's no swearing in the story, but that doesn't mean we won't swear. So if you don't want to hear swearing, read it. Cause
Pussy.
alright,
Right.
so
Okay, I'm gonna have to get a voice.
you don't appear for a while, so you're fine.
Alright. I
Alright.
might get my food. I'll mute whilst I'm speaking. I'll mute whilst I'm eating though. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't
Right, get back.
dress, Mom.
Alright, so should we wait for him? Because I feel like, you know, I want him to experience this.
If
Right.
you want to.
Right, so, Ira, do you mind being Daichi for this reading?
Is Daichi a male or female or non-binary or?
He's 12. So it doesn't
Okay.
really matter. You can use your normal voice.
So I
You-
can do this voice.
Could you not? If only because I
Okay,
feel
okay.
like that would suit his little sister, who's also like a character in this. We're not reading the whole thing. I'm not putting you guys through that. At least not today. We'll read chapter 1.
I've come to realization, Damien.
Yeah.
You've made a massive mistake casting a dyslexic person to read.
Look, fam.
I've also come to realize something.
What?
Jeez.
You really gotta flex on me, the lactose intolerant one.
Alright.
Take the L.
I might have lactose.
Alright, it's still.
So
This is just gonna be like a podcast, dude.
We would make the best
On this
podcast.
episode of True Crime Investigation,
Monkeys.
the podcast.
Okay, Oliver, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Alright, so is everyone mentally prepared for this?
No, but go on then.
Alright.
My body is ready.
Fuck off, Reggie. This is Sony PlayStation. Alright. Rain. That's the whole sentence, Rain. That was all what Daichi was focusing on during the late night bus ride. I'm messing up already. I hate myself. He was playing with.
Picture is contagious.
Oh god. No. He was playing with his hair, with his elbow on the windowsill and his hand against his cheek. He was trying to find any subtle way to release his anxiety from the horrible experience he was going through. What experience was that? His school uniform. From the itchy navy dress pants to the white shirt hanging off his body, it was torture. Can you tell which character I've made autistic in this?
Yes, I can tell.
I relate. I relate. I think I have ADHD, gang.
Yeehaw,
I
neurodivergent
relate
gang!
correctly diagnosed autist gang.
Alright. He moved his foot left to right, if only to make sure both of his bags were still there. One bag, the larger and plain black bag, why is dyslexia kicking in, was full of his school books and pencil case. The other one, with a green camo design, was full of extra clothes and his other pair of shoes. He had carried both of them with him throughout the entire day, as he wouldn't be able to go home and pick one up in the afternoon. These thoughts and recollections of the day made him remember when he was told about this day. Only a week ago. I am following each sentence with my finger like I'm in... like I'm 9
I
years
have
old.
to do
I'm
that.
following it with my mouse, but my mouse is like waving all over the place, so it's really difficult to
Oh.
go back.
We be out here. Dyspraxia gang. His father, Keikaru, had announced that he would be gone for 2 weeks. He would be going to America to support Haruka. I can never pronounce that name and I hate myself for it. Daichi's mother in the finale of the Mech World Championship. Both Daichi and his little sister wouldn't be able to stay home, as Daichi was only 12, and would have to spend the 2 weeks with their longtime family friends, the professor and his assistant, Sharu. I have thrown all of you into the deep end.
Oh no.
Before Daichi
My
even
body
had...
is ready.
You're just... Everyone else just posing in the
Not
back,
funny.
and Oliver's just eating like a bowl of cereal or something.
I'm not eating. I'm legit. Look, okay, alright. I brought up, right, a some fucking pickle cob, right? And I don't
Pickle
fucking love it,
cob?
'cause it smells
I'm sorry, please
disgusting.
repeat that.
Pickle cock.
Cob.
Oh.
What's a pickle
Fucking
called?
I can't tell enough
Oh, it's a
words.
roll! Before Daichi even had a chance to intervene and beg to stay home, his little sister Yuki squealed
Oh, shit,
in
let me turn that down.
excitement. Oh no, and ran to hug her father. All she wanted was to get a gift from America. And with that, the plans were set and Daichi would have his routine ruined. Don't you hate that when your parents plan something and then your routine's ruined?
Yeah.
I just realized something.
That feeling when you're like, my monitor.
My profile picture My profile picture is fucking an ironic fucking fan cam of Tom Scott. I just realised. No.
No!
Hold on.
Bruh.
Let me just change this real quick. Continue reading.
Alright.
I'm
Daichi.
fucking Legoshi.
Daichi's hand ran through Yuki's hair. She was sleeping on his lap, with her plush cat backpack on her back. He knew that she would have fallen asleep. 10 p.m. was far too late for a 6-year-old to be up at. As the bus left the wooded area and met with street lamps lighting up the surroundings, Daichi grew calmer, knowing that the ride would soon be over. He began to think of everything he was excited for. His childhood friend Akira would be staying in the same room as him, and school was even closer than usual. Him and his cousin were planning to watch the Mech World Championship live and support his mum. But he was annoyed that he... Yes.
Oh, okay.
They're like you go into the mechs and like fight them. It's a long story. This whole universe is kind of like advanced in technology.
Hog?
And yet they cannot stop a couple of monkeys running through them.
They're very smart monkeys in their defense. Right.
Monkey.
Surely they're not smarter than humans.
Monkey.
They entrusted 9-year-olds to defeat the monkeys. I think that was probably their big issue. Anyway, but he was annoyed that he couldn't sleep in his bed with his own duvet set for 2 weeks. Little things like that annoyed him all the time. Ira, be prepared. A line's coming up for you. There wasn't any more time to think about trivial things, though. He saw the sign directing families to the local playground and realized it was almost time to go.
Oh, sorry. Hey, we're almost there.
Yes. Yuki's eyelids flickered a bit before settling in a half-closed position. She got up with a yawn and rubbed her eyes. When it was me just adding the noises, we gotta make this intense.
Oliver!
Oliver, what the Here I was. When it was clear she was fine, but just sleepy, Daichi pressed the button to tell the bus driver to stop at the next stop. That is a thing in the UK, right? Where there's like a button. Yeah, alright. Yeah. Just wanted to make sure.
No, the button just blows up the bus. I don't know why I have it.
Yeah.
Just in case the Nazis come back and we just need to quickly just take out everyone. Wow, this got dark. How
much smells fucking rank. I'm not gonna eat this.
Oh. Just eat it, you pussy.
No.
Dude, I'd eat it.
No, you wouldn't. He soon felt the slowing of the bus and grabbed Yuki's hand and threw his 2 bags over one shoulder. He started moving to the bus doors, which were only about 3 steps away, walking the tired child in front of him. He gave a smile with a nod to the bus driver, who was also a child murderer apparently, when the doors opened and safely went down the steps.
Guys, why is the purple guy driving a bus?
Why is he? That's what we want to know.
I don't know. I just can't answer. The rain was lighter now, but still there. The siblings hadn't brought any jackets, but only Daichi cared. As the bus drove off, Yuki dashed out of his grip and ran up the steps to the professor's house. Quickly recovering from his flustered, speechless state, Daichi threw his bags over his shoulder one again, because I'm blind apparently when I proofread this, once again, and tried his best to run after her. As he moved up the steps, he fumbled around with his keys to get the right one. At the top of the steps, Yuki was pacing in circles in excitement, because apparently that's what I think 6-year-olds are like. Daichi slipped the key in on his first try and easily unlocked the door. I've never met a 6-year-old, I don't think, actually. I've always been too scared, because they're too hyperactive.
You have met a 6-year-old, Damien. Well, you were a 6-year-old at one point.
Well, bitch, I didn't talk to anyone! The door automatically slid to the side with a hum, and Yuki ran in immediately, heading straight to the guest room where she would always sleep. Daichi followed slower, and locked the door behind him. Anything that was inside the house would stay there. I want you to keep that in mind.
That sounds very creepy.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. No. Alright. Daichi dropped his bags to his hands and dropped his composure. He steadily walked to the kitchen, past the stairs, and the door that had been locked for as long as he's been alive. The much heavier school bag was dropped on the ground, and Daichi looked around, only to see that he was alone. This confused him. Akira would always be in the kitchen. It was basically his second home. Same. Sharu not being around was... We support chubby Akira. Just eating all the food. Sharu not being around was expected. She would probably be helping Yuki get into bed. His confusion was broken by the wail of his stomach, which made him realize he hadn't eaten since lunch. Daichi snuck his way over to the refrigerator as quietly as possible, ready to sneak some treats out. He grabbed the handle and opened the door with one strong pull. Avery, it's your line here.
Hold on. I need to mentally prepare myself.
Pretend you've just been like binging anime for like the last week straight. A screech from the fridge scared the frail preteen so much that he fell straight onto his bottom. Who else was it but Akira, hiding in the fridge as if it was a closet? Don't ask me how he got himself into the fridge, he just did.
God damn, Damien, explain this plot hole. Ruin the canon of your fanfiction.
How did he get into the fridge? Yeah, because this is the issue with the fanfiction. The fridge.
Yeah.
The sudden drop made...
Monkeys I can understand, but people being able to just teleport into a fridge, Damien, I don't think...
Teleport into a fridge? He just climbed in there. You're giving him too much credit. The sudden drop made Daichi initially tear up, but then he started giggling. Ira, your line?
Oh, no, where is it? What?
Second line.
Fuck.
Second line.
I found it. Oh wow.
He said in the most sarcastic tone he could mutter, "Ton. I hate my fucking iPad." Avery, turn time again. Binging anime,
like
boys. You dropped like
fuck's sake. What character am I?
You're Akira, you dropped like a vase. Right.
What? You keep cutting out. I can't understand.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Alright, so last line we got.
Am I Daichi?
You're Akira. So the one that screeched Haya, jumped out of the fridge, and is now saying you dropped like a vase.
Oh, okay.
Right. Akira spat out, in between laughing fits. It's Daichi's turn again.
That's not a phrase.
It's not. Daichi responded with a reluctant smile. Avery, it's your turn again.
Well, it is now, and who are you to tell me what's not a real phrase? You fell to the floor at a loud noise.
Yeah. Akira could be insensitive at times. And Daichi knew this. Who is texting me on Instagram? This is not professional. Right. It was only an attempt to look cool, and look like... It was only his attempt to look cool and like a hero from an anime. Daichi, it's your turn again.
Yeah. Okay, ordinary level.
So, please tell me that's what you
I
got.
don't think all the cadence is that right. Oh, alright. Okay, ordinary level.
It's meant to be like, you know, like one of those things like, okay, ordinary level. Because, it's like under honors. I don't know what it is in the UK.
Oh.
Like base level, I guess you could say. I'm confusion too. I'm just gonna continue. Like,
Yeah.
you know how there's honors? Like in subjects, honors levels.
Not in the UK, I don't think.
No.
Oh.
No, we all just we have different sets, but we all do the same qualification.
Oh. Well, in Ireland, like, you're able to do, like, the same subjects, but depending on, like, you have honors, you have ordinary, and foundation. Foundation is the lowest, ordinary is just kind of like base, and then honors. So, it's meant to be, like...
we have something like that. We have foundation, intermediate, and higher.
Yeah, so it
We
basically...
just have foundation and higher.
So,
our school maths did intermediate.
Yeah, so basically, it would just be him saying, okay, intermediate level.
Okay.
Meant to be like,
okay, intermediate level.
Yeah. Woo! We're getting over that cultural barrier. Daichi smirked as he stood up. All Akira could say was, oi! In response. Daichi threw his clothes bag back over his shoulder before making his way to the hallway once again. Avery.
Since you were going to the fridge, I think you'd probably want this.
Akira said, sounding very depressed. I'm so sorry for confusing everyone. Walking up behind his slightly smaller friend. As Daichi turned around, he realized that there was a small chocolate bar coming his way, and he tried his best to catch it. He did catch it, but it was less than graceful, bouncing between his hands a few times. Akira jogged in front of Daichi. Just, whoa. Flying chocolate bar.
I mean that with love.
Akira jogged in front of Daichi and continued down the hall until reaching the turn to the stairs. When Daichi looked up and saw that his friend was waiting for him, the dyslexia is kicking in. He walked quickly to the same spot. Ooh. They both went up the staircase. You okay? Or am I the one that's...
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're here.
Right. I'm just nervous, I guess you could say, to show off this masterpiece. That...
Why are you nervous? It's the best thing I've read all day. I haven't read anything today.
Oh.
It's the only thing I've read today. I'm sorry.
They both went up the staircase that curved at each end to allow people to exit onto each floor. They went up to the third floor and quietly moved to the door at the end of the hallway beside the stairwell, towards the back of the building. They had no choice but to go to that door, as it was the only one that would ever open. English. Who? There's a theme here, and that nothing's ever open.
God, how many sex dungeons do they have in this house?
Oh my god. The professor's like
Not
fucking
enough.
80
Not
years
enough.
old. No. The room they entered was the perfect guest room for two people. This is what I wish my grandparents' house was like whenever I went to visit them. Just an actual good room. It was a fairly large room with 3 large windows on the back wall to look out on the hill the building was on. But more importantly, the city. There were 2 simple beds on each side of the room, each with a bedside table near the top and a closet at the end. There was 1 mirror on the wall beside the left bed, right before the door indent. Why can't I speak? The walls were a light cream color, and the flooring was dark wood. That's a color, wood. It was a warm, welcoming room. So welcoming that Akira decided to run to the left bed and jumped straight onto it, claiming it as his own. Just looks like a fucking cat. Just like... It just pisses on the bed, claiming it as his own. Hi. Where the hell was I? Oh, here. Daichi walked over to the right bed and dropped his clothes bag at the end of the bed, only to open it and remove some articles of clothing. He almost immediately started to get changed, as Akira went through his phone looking for posts to like. Finally, out of those horrific school clothes, Daichi finally felt comfortable. He was in his almost signature green shirt with white stripes followed by smaller blue stripes, combined with comfortable dark gray sweatpants and his favorite black and green striped socks. I was meant to end the sentence like that, but fuck it anyway, this is a shit show. He shook his head to give his brown hair a bit of bounce, but the blonde streak made it fun enough. He looked over to his friend, who was understandably confused. Was understandably confused. Who is speaking outside my room?
Oh no.
Let's hope these bitches don't pick up, or else I'm going to cry. Anyway, Akira had put his black and red puffer jacket over his white turtleneck, as if he was going out somewhere. As far as he knew, the two of them were going to be staying inside the whole night. Before he had time to say anything, Akira spoke up.
Get out if you're hot. I like put my mic right up to my mouth.
Just make it
serial
safe. We just
Please
Akira.
keep
I am Akira. Let's make a Daichi protection squad to protect him from Akira, because that actually somewhat suits this weird ass fucking character. Akira whispered, not as a question, but almost like a command. It's your turn, Ira.
What?
Daichi asked, louder than he meant to. He had been told always to take off his shoes when entering a house, and he was very strict about following that rule. Akira, your time again.
But you're gonna need them, because I have this.
Akira said, proudly but quietly, as he rose his hand to reveal a card. He must have caught on to Daichi's confused expression, and he started to explain himself. Akira, it's your time again.
Oh, hold on. It's a key card, and not only that, but I think it's the same card that my parents used to go in and out of the rooms here. And that means we can finally see what they're hiding from us in that room.
Yes. Queen.
Rum.
Rum. Red rum. Anyway, Daichi knew what room he was talking about. The one near the beginning of the house. It was the only one their parents were very strict about not entering. Daichi, your time again?
I was just gonna read the line, bruv.
Well,
We can't.
Daichi shouted in a whisper.
Well, we can now.
It was literally one of those things where it's like, may I go to the toilet? Can I go to the toilet? I don't know. Can you?
Wait, Damien.
Yes.
You know when you said, what was it? Where's the line? Hold on, where's the line? Like, he rose up his hand to reveal a card.
Yeah. Did you think it was going to be a calling card?
This just...
This is the calling card of you being a serial killer.
Life just changed. Life We Changed started playing in my head.
You know, that song, even just the name of the song, really fits the story and where it's going. Anyway, I won't spoil anything. Akira said as he walked towards the door, his other hand ready to grab the handle.
But
Daichi tried to intervene, but was interrupted.
Come on, can't follow the rules all the time.
Akira threw the door open and started to make his way downstairs, shortly followed by his fearful friend. Akira lunged to his shoes and began to untie them so that he could put them on. Put they on.
Bruh.
I hate myself.
They use they them pronouns. Don't misgender they shoes.
Daichi continued to mumble buts and what ifs as he put on his slip-on shoes, but nothing could get through to his dear friend. After he had successfully tied up one of his brand name shoes, Akira turned to Daichi.
What do you think is going to be in there? What if Great Gramps is a detective?
Daichi could only sigh and
I don't know.
while waiting for his friend. He crossed his arms by placing them on top of each other and began to feel the skin on his elbows. Please tell me I'm not the only one that does that.
Oh, all the time.
What, feeling the skin on your elbows?
Yes.
All the time. So like
Yeah.
wrinkly and a bit scaly almost. I know.
I
I've
don't
got
feel the
dry
skin on my elbow.
Mine is smooth.
Woo! X my
My
gang!
elbows are wrinkly.
flex.
Akira jumped up like a spring before taking the lead into to the large iron door. Daichi walked after him, continuing to feel his own skin and ignoring the rambles coming from Akira. The orange-haired boy... Oh yeah, Akira's a bit of a ginger. The orange-haired boy took the keycard out of his pocket, looking at it like it was a prized possession, and looked at the keypad next to the door. It was a bit bigger than a modern mobile phone with white buttons. Half of the buttons didn't have numbers anymore from being used. Akira knew from watching his parents go in and out of the room that the code was only 4 digits, but there were more than 4 buttons that were faded from use. God, why am I drinking sugary drinks when I know I have acid reflux? It's only gonna end up bad.
Whoa, no! This was a mistake.
Chug, 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 chug.
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 Alright, he soon saw the thin black line next to the buttons and the small screen, the perfect place to use a keycard, even if he found it on the ground whilst walking to that very house. Akira slipped the keycard through the slit from top to bottom. It felt like they were waiting for years for any form of acceptance or rejection. After a few minutes, they started to hear clunking noises from around them. Daichi bit his lip and Akira began to sweat. They looked at each other, worried that they may just have caused something so much worse than expected. When the noises suddenly stopped, they both clenched their teeth. Would anyone like to do that amazing onomatopoeia of the noise?
Rim.
Yeah, it's just like
I thought you meant like biting your teeth.
no brim. The door slid open.
Ah!
Ask me if I am a truck. Go on. Rim.
I'm listening to Life Will Change, by the way, while we're doing this.
God, you're just hyping yourself up for something so much better than expected. Oliver can just do like all the onomatopoeia sounds if he wants.
Hell yeah.
The door slid open. Both the boys gasped. The room was completely black.
Stop beating it out, potion.
They probably were like, I didn't expect this. Akira began to lead the charge into the room. Noticeably shaken, though, he slapped his hand on the wall and began to search for anything. His hand came... I was waiting for it!
Hand came.
No! He's 11, leave him alone!
Oh no!
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 His hand came across a bar with a ball-like shape on the top, pointed towards the ceiling.
Got it.
He proudly said through his teeth, as he used all his strength to pull the leather down.
What the fuck did I... Oh, I just knocked my bin over, shit.
No!
Okay, I'm good.
Why did you do
I
that?
didn't do it on purpose. I hit it with my foot.
Okay, fair enough.
It's like right by my feet.
There was a flicker of light before 3 rows of circular ceiling lights stayed lit from the door to the end of the room. The room wasn't anything the boys could have expected. There were piles and piles of boxes lining the walls, pages and books falling out of them. The dust engulfed the entire room, aside from an extremely large screen with its strange keyboard on the left side of the room. It wasn't sparkling, but it wasn't as dusty as the large cylindrical machine in the back of the room. It was like a steel gazebo, but without any chairs and a giant wind-up key on the top of a metal roof. The right wall was full of screens that hadn't been touched in years.
Oh, that's what a gazebo is.
I know
Oh,
someone
you
had
just
to
made me
look
Google. You just made me Google what a gazebo is.
Yeah, what the gazebo?
Everyone's looking at what the fuck is a gazebo.
I know what gazebo is, don't worry.
Yes.
I'm smart, I'm smart.
Why is that in a lab?
Right.
Why is there a gazebo in a lab,
No, it looks like a gazebo.
Yeah.
bro?
Okay.
It's a difference
What is all this?
Daichi said with genuine interest echoing through his voice. He walked into the... I just can't get over the idea of a proper gazebo in a lab. Just have some...
Just like
Just have some
oh, I'm
tea.
so tired from all the monkey experiments. Let me have a cup of tea in my gazebo.
And
All of
gazebo. They were all newspapers, or at least excerpts from newspapers. Headlines such as "Attack on London Zoo goes unexplained" and "Suspect of nationwide blackout still unknown" were some of the ones that Daichi actually recognized. Does that sound like it would be on Daily Mail? I don't know.
No, they wouldn't say it was unexplained. They said it was Muslims who did it.
The foreigners.
True.
Why are you laughing? I'm right.
You are.
Why are you booing me? I'm right.
That blackout happened all over Japan a few years ago, and the zoo incident happened when he was very young. But why were these newspaper articles being collected?
Shut
Shut the fuck up, that wasn't in London Zoo. Especially since there was no correlation between them all. He didn't have enough time or information to put all the pieces together, as Akira pressed the power button on the main keyboard in the room. Suddenly, the largest screen turned on. The light from the screen caught Daichi's attention immediately, turning his head to see the screen and his friend in front of the device. It was a world map. There were hundreds, if not thousands, of red dots all over the map, in every continent, on land and on sea. One area was different, though. On the northeast side of the USA, there was a red circle, as if it was the next area to check. Daichi's mind went wild. He couldn't figure out how all these dots could possibly be related. Were they to do with the articles he found? Akira, it's your time.
Oh, fuck.
Kira.
Hold on.
Kira.
I lost it. Oh, okay. All this for vacation plans?
Akira huffed before turning around with an angry frown on his face.
Oh, what?
Daichi responded. He hadn't realized that Akira had not even glanced at the papers. Akira.
Oh, it's me again.
Yeah.
Look, it circles at New York and your parents are in New York. It's a bleeding holiday guide.
Well, Akira.
Akira was not happy at all. It was clear he wanted something more.
Akira, I think it's a map of these newspaper incidents.
Daichi suggested, handing an article to his friend. Grabbing it with another huff, Akira looked at the article at the blackout. His face went from a scorn to disbelief to confusion.
But why?
Why? What's this ass?
What?
Akira asked, realizing that his initial thoughts were wrong.
Oh, why would I know? I know as much as you do.
Daichi said, knowing they'd gotten into something they weren't prepared for. Akira.
Akira.
Fuck, sorry.
We need you on stage.
more clues.
Akira commanded, pretending not to be weirded out by the situation. Akira, it's you again.
Sorry, I keep... Okay, let me turn this off, because I keep flipping back and forth between things.
It's fine.
Okay. So we're at pretending not to be weirded out.
Yeah.
I'll look at the back of the room. You look over there.
The front side of the room had more boxes in the back, and became clear that the room had also taken the role of a storage room. Several boxes were filled with manga of all genres, including ones Daichi knew he shouldn't have seen, and others were filled with old clothes from when Akira's parents were young. What do you think those manga were?
Tentacle hentai.
Oh no!
Oh, please don't tell me it was lolly.
No!
Is it Boku no Pico?
No! No!
I can't tell which of our suggestions was worse.
Beastars. It's
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Oh god. One of the boxes.
Say that.
One of the boxes were full of scrapbooks that someone had written in themselves. He picked up the top one and flipped through the pages. It was like a children's book. Weird drawings of monkeys wearing hats in various outfits and rambles about their personalities. Then he saw the pictures. They were blurry, but they clearly showed the idea of the drawings. Had they been based on real monkeys that exist? Daichi decided that since this house belonged to... Why is Akira... It's Akira. Belonged to Akira's great-grandparents, that he might know more about these weird monkeys. He began to walk to the other side of the room. And Akira, once again...
Daichi?
The orange-haired boy said, with confusion mixed into his words. He looked over his shoulder to see his friend was almost right next to him.
You remember when I used to say my grandpa was an inventor? Well...
He turned around, and it was clear that he was holding something. It appeared to be a blue rod with a strange pyramid on one side, and a darker blue button on the other.
What is that thing?
Your mind's better be clear at the moment. Daichi's
It's
voice...
a vibrator.
No! Daichi's voice exposed his internal anxiety. Akira hit the...
vibrators.
No! Akira hit the button with the palm of his hand, and like magic, the rod grew longer, and a circular...
Come on! Come on, it's a vibrate. Just fucking minute.
I could tell
It's
you were
not.
when you wrote that.
No, I wasn't! Like magic, the rod grew longer, and a circular ring popped out of the pyramid. Neon...
Come on. Come on.
Dude, you already know it.
A circular ring popped out of the pyramid. Neon blue strings appeared from the ring and connected as they met about 12 inches from the ring.
Oh, come on!
It was a net! It was a net, fuckers! It was a
Sounds
net.
like a vibrator, damn it.
What type of vibrator does this?
Well, I don't know the rules of the monkey world.